Hi, I'm Professor Beck Strah.
And I'm Professor Eric Bronson. And this is Prison Breakdown.
2, 3, break!
Hate to spoil his fun, but we're gonna bust out of here.
2, 3, break!
I'm locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
2, 3, break!
I can honestly say I'm a changed man. No danger to society here. God's honest truth.
2, 3, break!
I'm not leaving this cell. I'll get out my way. The right way.
2, 3, break!
Ahoy, dudes and dudettes. Welcome back to Prison Breakdown. It is a beautiful May day as part of our Movie Maynute. With me are my co-ghost and co-broast. What's happening?
Ahoy, but I'm the co-ghost. I like it. It goes along with that whole haunted pirate theme of Roger Williams University's Jolly Rogers sailing team.
Yeah, we're haunt dudes. We support a good haunt.
Absolutely. And so, how's everybody? Everybody good?
Yay.
Yes,
all right.
We're recording this on Happy Mother's Day, and you know what? Happy Mother's Day to all the moms and moms to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of them, all those wonderful moms and moms to be.
Yeah. So I was thinking about something the other day, and I want to get your take.
Straight trouble.
So, if you were to make a Russian nesting doll out of muffins, what muffins would you use? There's 5 layers.
Wow. That's a tough one.
It's not tough. This one's easy.
It's not tough.
You got the apple cinnamon crumble.
Are we starting on the outside going?
Wait, yeah. That was my question. Outside or inside?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Let's go outside to in. So we're starting with the biggest one. Biggest one's going to be a poppy seed.
Poppy seed for you. Okay.
Poppy seed. Followed by a blueberry.
Okay. Yeah.
Followed by the apple crumble.
A good choice. Original.
Mm-hmm. Followed by the triple chocolate. And then in the center, you have a cream-filled one with like cherry in the middle.
Oh, that sounds delightful. Almost a cupcake, this last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Almost.
I mean, I like that.
What's the big difference between a cupcake and a muffin? It's really just icing on top. That's it.
I was going to say, it's about 400 calories. That's the difference.
Yeah. No, they're like the same calories. I mean, it's just like pure bread.
Not if you've got the proper amount of icing.
Well, that's true. But also, if you put the icing on the inside, it's still a muffin.
Love it.
That's what I'm saying.
Love it.
Yeah.
And that's how you properly eat a cupcake: is you slice that thing in half and put the bottom half on top
and
of
eat
the
like
icing.
A sandwich. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I've never seen this. It's a sandwich. That's a great idea.
Oh, 100%.
That is, yeah.
Because like the worst part of the cupcake is the bottom, but if you use it as like a second piece of cupcake to sandwich the icing, then you get great icing distribution in every single bite.
And it's a cleaner eat too.
Much cleaner eat, definitely.
Much cleaner eat. Which is important, you know.
This is a good life hack. Yeah.
I can't believe you've never seen this before.
You underestimate my laziness when it comes to eating. If it's just in front of me, that's me eating. That was my noise.
I was gonna say, I mean, you're eating cupcakes like a fucking Neanderthal over there. If you're not splitting them in half, making a sandwich, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is primitive tech. Eric, what's your Russian nesting doll of muffins? What do you got?
I'm the only thing I gotta go with what I love. What Britt threw out there. The only thing I would change is I would add it rather than that chocolate one that he had at the second to last. I love orange muffins.
Orange?
Oh,
they are had an orange muffin.
Orange muffin.
Oh my! They are delicious. Oh my God, they are so good. An orange muffin, yeah. So that's what I'm not a huge chocolate fan, so yeah, get rid of that and switch it with an orange. But the rest of it was you were damn near perfect, Britt.
Thank you. I mean, you gotta go with poppy seed for the biggest one. I think that's almost a universal take, right?
No.
Yeah.
I put blueberry on the outside because blueberry is like if you close your eyes and picture a muffin, you're picturing that blueberry muffin.
That's
the one people want to see.
I picture a poppy seed. I'm not gonna lie. I picture that poppy seed.
Well, my thing, any of those, I'd go with any. You could interchange any of those for me. They're all damn delicious and sinful.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I would add a pistachio muffin in there. I think I'd take out.
Oh, I didn't even think about pistachio muffin.
But it has to be a green pistachio muffin, just to let me know it's pistachio.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, you don't know for sure. You're just like, I see these nuts on top, but is it pistachio?
Is it really pistachio? And then I replaced the apple crumble with a banana nut.
Not for me, to be honest.
No.
Nut for you.
Not for me.
No. I think your little Russian doll muffin set up there needs to be smashed back. That was terrible.
Yeah,
you know what? And we end with I want bran muffin in there too, baby.
Oh,
give me bran.
No, shut up. Get out.
Give me bran. Give me some raisin on that.
No, that's terrible.
God,
I'm a bran man.
You're a 70-year-old man already.
Yeah.
I like my bread.
He eats it while he puts on his, Mr. Rogers slippers and sweater.
His cardigan. Yeah.
Have you two ever had like a good bran muffin? Like a good hearty. I'm glad I had that for breakfast.
No. They don't make them. There's no such thing. That's an oxymoron. A good bran muffin.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna find it, and you're gonna eat those words like you're gonna eat this fucking bran muffin, my friends. Just you wait.
Right. Oh no, those are terrible.
All right. Shall we move on to bigger and better things like Das News?
Let's get into some really important stuff, like some news hot off the razor wire.
Beep, 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 beep.
Fresh news, hot off the razor wire.
All right, my friends. We all knew this was coming sooner or later. Something about, I don't know, Doge trying to save a little bit of money when it comes to prisons. All the while we're dumping all kinds of money in the private institutions. But let's see, from 2 days ago, media says cash-strapped Bureau of Prisons freezes some hiring to avoid more extreme measures, director said. The Trump administration is halting some hiring at the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the crisis-plagued agency where chronic understaffing has led to long overtime shifts and the use of prison nurses, teachers, cooks, and other workers to guard inmates.
Wow.
The move.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Before?
No, I mean this. So this came out 2 days ago. All right. The move, which coincides with President Donald Trump's aggressive campaign to cut the cost and size of the federal government, was announced Thursday by the agency's newly appointed director, William K. Marshall III. Some unit officials characterized the move as a hiring freeze, though the agency denied that, saying some positions would continue to be filled. Anyway, we're going to continue. This is so just driving me absolutely insane, just because I know how much overtime and mandatory overtime is going on with the staff there at the Federal Bureau of Prisons. But the Bureau of Prisons will maintain current staffing levels at least through the end of the fiscal year, September 30th. Marshall wrote an email to staff titled Staffing and Hiring Decisions. The agency will still work to fill critical positions such as correctional officers and medical clinicians, and will honor job offers that are currently pending on an accelerated timeline. The change comes days after Trump ordered the Bureau of Prisons to reopen Alcatraz, the fabled former penitentiary in the San Francisco Bay that last held inmates more than 6 decades ago. The dilapidated facility, now a popular museum and tourist attraction, will likely cost hundreds of millions, which I think is an underestimate, but hundreds of millions of dollars to rebuild at a time when the federal prison system is facing a $3 billion repair backlog and a myriad of other woes. So if you think about that, I can't imagine. We're grossly understaffed for the Federal Bureau of Prisons, right? They don't have enough correctional officers. They don't have enough healthcare workers within the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And then we're going to put a hiring freeze while we are sending inmates to private correctional facilities, and we can watch their stock go through the roof. I mean, this is we know what's happening here. They're doing it right in front of our faces, and it's already an issue since mid-March. The article goes on here. Since mid-March, 11 federal prison inmates have died. Last week, an inmate in Miami tested positive for tuberculosis, while others were diagnosed with COVID-19. In February, a Bureau of Prisons official told Congress that more than 4,000 beds within the system, the equivalent of at least 2 full prisons, are unusable because of dangers like leaking or failing roofs, mold, asbestos, or lead. It's just what a mess. What an absolute mess.
Let's start with the overtime. Like it's been a problem that we've discussed on this podcast a couple times before in the past, and so many agencies are strapped for overtime. They don't have enough people. If you don't have enough people at your agency, you still have to have somebody on your prison and jail units at all times. There has to be somebody watching the inmates there. They can't just be left alone. And so this makes for mandatory overtime way too often, and people end up forced to work much longer hours than they had planned on doing. I've worked many mandatory overtime shifts in my time when I was a corrections officer, and it was fine to some degree. You know, it comes with the territory, but when this is to be expected all the time for people, that kills morale. And I remember doing interviews with corrections officers of an unnamed state, and they were working 80 hours a week because they had done a hiring freeze for a while. And then they finally started hiring new guys. And then these new guys are getting hit every single shift. And so you're working 80 hours a week. That's going to burn you out so fast. You're making money, a lot of money, but you don't have any time to use it. You don't have any time to enjoy it.
Right. Well, that's one other thing. I talk to our students, our wonderful students at Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. They, all oftentimes looking for ways into the federal system to work. And, it's long been known that it's rather difficult to get a job directly in with the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the U.S. Marshals. And so one of the things that a lot of my students over the years have done, and a lot of other people do, is that they get jobs in areas or agencies that are a little bit more open to folks joining on, a little bit easier route, not as many people applying, such as the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And, I've been saying it this year, hey, the Federal Bureau of Prisons is still hiring, and once we get through the next few years and all the other agencies start hiring again, you're going to be able to make that lateral move. Well, I tell them, you're going to make plenty of money. It's a lot more than what is on there. And wow, if they're really doing 70, 80 hours a week, they're going to make lots of money. They're all going to make over $100,000. But like you said, what are they going to be doing? Because they're working 2 jobs. This is, I don't know. This is really outrageous. It's bad for the staff, and it's bad for the inmates, because you have folks that are walking around like zombies, and if they're working that much and they're miserable, they're going to take it out on the inmates. It's not a positive.
And their lives at home, when they are actually allowed to see their spouses and kids and families, like. I'm not going to be in the best mood if I'm working 8 hours a week.
No, they're going home and sleeping. They're not saying a word to their family.
Yeah,
they're walking and telling their families to sit down and shut up, and then they go to sleep.
It sounds like the Bronson family from
that's the bus driver, right? Sit down and shut up from South Park.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know South Park anymore.
What do you mean anymore? She's been there since day one.
I don't know. Like, I don't remember a bus driver from South Park. Do you, Britt?
Yeah, there were like, no, I'm thinking of the Simpsons bus driver. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the crazy lady you're talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sit down, shut up.
Yeah, she's
He does it so well.
Yeah, maybe that's because I heard it when I was getting on the bus when I was a kid.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Hey, now you touched on something that we have to attack a little bit here. We had Alcatraz guests last year in the month of Alcatraz, and based on what we know, is opening Alcatraz again a good idea under any circumstances?
No, yeah, I mean, we know that's a horrible idea. I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if Alcatraz right now has a way to heat the place, nor do I know if it has potable water. I don't think it does. I don't think they have a way to do that. So those are two things that they have to change. How are they doing that? What is the cost? That in and of itself, we're looking at hundreds of millions of dollars just for that. Forget about the structure itself, which is, it's crumbling because it's so old. But this isn't just, $400 million or an $800 million. I'm thinking this is, we're looking more at $2 billion project here to get this thing to a place where you could hold inmates. I don't think it's actually going to happen. It's profitable as a museum. Let's keep that going. Let's stop being. This is just absolutely ridiculous, and I think it's just a diversion and distraction. But
I think it's also like a big hit against the Parks Department as well, because as you said, it makes like $60 million a year for the Parks Department right now, and so removing that source of funding from it has like 1.2 to 1.6 million visitors every year who spend money there. Like, you're just like taking that away from the Parks Department. And I'm sure the Trump administration is super happy about that because they've already tried to gut the Parks Department. And thankfully, a lot of their efforts haven't worked, but a lot of them have.
It doesn't make sense on like any level other than the symbolism of having Alcatraz. And that's not enough. It's not enough. We also, one thing I mentioned to Eric when Eric had texted me about this is, if you look at the prison population in federal prisons now versus 2015, we're about 50,000 people lighter. And that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But that means that we presumably have 50,000 beds in the United States that aren't being used. I imagine we canceled some private contracts in there if there just weren't enough inmates and consolidated inmates to lesser structures. But still, that 50,000 beds is a lot. We're not hurting for beds. We're not hurting for space. It is all about symbolism. And him saying we're going to put the worst of the worst there. It's a symbol that doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything other than we're tough on crime. And that's a shitty thing to be anyway.
Right. Well, obviously the whole capacity, we're nowhere near capacity for the beds in the Federal Bureau of Prison system. But I don't know what they could do to that place to make it more secure than Florence, Colorado, the AdMax. I mean, that you're not getting more secure than that place.
Yeah, we have a facility for high security. What did I forget how he phrased it? The dregs of society, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's called the White House right now.
Get him, Eric. Get him.
Got him.
We're gonna stick our attack dog on him.
Yeah, got a lot to say. Oh boy, yeah, it's I don't know. It
seems like a fruitless move. It's one of the funniest things he's talked about. There's apparently shark bites all over the clothes that have washed up, according to his statement. And so it's one of the funnier things he's done in office the second time, but not funny in like a good or productive way.
No, we have to. It's kind of like that dark humor you get when you work anywhere in the criminal justice system because things are always shocking and awful. It's so ridiculous and depressing with what the hell is going on that you just need to laugh.
Yeah. So let me put it out there to you two. What should be our good alternatives to Alcatraz? If we were to open up a new facility to incarcerate the dregs of society, as they say.
I say no new prisons. That's just me though.
No, I like that. That works for me.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, like if you had to build a new prison that was like isolated like that, build one in like the middle of Alaska or something like that. Some place where there's like nothing around you, but just like woods and wolves and bears. Like that would make more sense.
I think you've been watching one of our movies a little too closely.
I think so too.
Maybe we should get into the movies in a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Who's that sponsor?
That would be
Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies, with programs in criminal justice and let's see, sociology, anthropology, political science, and international relations, as well as graduate degrees in Masters of Public Administration and Criminal Justice. All your justice studies need in one amazing place.
Lovely.
Yes, thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies, for being.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, what's that Instagram again?
The School of Justice Studies, RWU.
Oh, all right, great. I
It's a
assume I
new
follow
page. No, not yet.
Oh, it's a new page you just started?
You will now. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, School of Justice Studies. What is your favorite program at the School of Justice Studies? Let's go around.
Oh, my favorite program, without a doubt, is the new Joint Department of Soc and Criminal Justice. As a sociologist, all of my degrees in sociology, I of course respect the father discipline of criminal justice, which is sociology.
Yeah.
What would be our mother discipline?
We're motherless on Mother's Day in criminal justice. Come on.
That's sad.
Wow.
We grew out of sociology and to be criminology, and then the criminal justice folks decided they didn't want to be associated with sociology anymore, so they started busting out on their own, and they still, when we have theory classes, I would hope they still teach, Durkheim and, things like lay suicide. But I don't know. Did you get into that at all in your program, Beck?
I never read Le Suicide, but we did discuss Durkheim, and I've read a fair amount of Durkheim, yeah.
See? That's our daddy right there.
Yeah.
That and Merton strain theory.
Eric Bronson and Durkheim are my
No, it's Durkheim and Robert Merton. We got two daddies. We're more progressive than we could ever admit.
If I made a shirt that said Durkheim's daddy, would you wear it?
Durkheim is daddy?
Durkheim's my daddy. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emil is my pops. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll spitball merch someday, but
yeah,
I don't know that that's our first merch idea.
No, definitely. That sounds good. That'll get some attention. Put that with our little shield, definitely.
Oh yeah. The people, it's what they want. Now, I should also add, Bronson here he's in a lodge for mountain biking. There's mountain bike flags in the background. He's being an extreme dad today, and we appreciate his service. Thank you for
definitely
to a cool dad on Mother's Day.
Committed to our crowd, our audience and people. Those thousands upon thousands of listeners that we have subscribing to us.
If you like, please rate and subscribe. Thank you. And thank you to Roger Williams University. Let's move on and talk about some movies for a minute.
Movie Maynute. Movie Maynute. Now month for the month of May, we talk about movies.
I like your updated theme. It's really good.
Yes, that is fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, our two films today are a film called No Escape from 1992 and another film called Dinosaur Prison from 2023. I think we start talking about No Escape. Britt, you want to give us the breakdown?
Yeah. So, we start out with a prisoner being sent to like a super max prison, and we're in like a dystopian future where corporations own all the prisons, and also the movie has that too.
The beginning, it wasn't even a crawl, but what it said at the very beginning, I was like, this is like real. This is today.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, there was parts of it that were prophetic.
Perfectly.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
I wrote it down. It is in the year 2022. The international prison system is operated by private corporations. Criminals from all over the world are exploited at a profit. Prisons have become big business. And I was like, oh, I'm in for an insightful movie with good politics. And it wasn't really either.
No.
I got when that started off, I got excited about it. I was like, oh, this is going to relate to what the hell we're going through today. And then things just went bonkers.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's continue. So it we got this ex-Marine named John Robbins who is transferred to a supermax because he keeps on like doing escape attempts and violent things in other prisons. And he's put in jail originally because he killed his commanding officer for ordering him to kill innocent civilians in Benghazi. And I was like, wow, that's like oddly prophetic as well. Like, yeah. So he goes to the prison and he like takes the warden at like gunpoint, and so he's deemed like too dangerous to be in the prison, so they drop him on this island called Absalom, and there he's taken prisoner by a group called the Outsiders, but then he escapes and becomes part of this group called the Insiders. But then there's a mole, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. It actually has a pretty all right story, I'd say. I don't know if it's the greatest execution of it, but yeah, I don't know. It was pretty fun.
It's a movie that has like 20 minutes too much. Did either of you two notice the parallel with Escape from New York, where it's like he comes into the warden and the warden's like, oh, you're this decorated soldier. At one of these, there was such a parallel where they're trying to set up Ray Liotta as a strong, silent type of a Snake Plissken-esque, but Ray Liotta he's just not the action star like Kurt Russell is.
No, he doesn't have the charm. He comes off too much of like a straight man here, and he's not like ever funny or charming really. He just seems kind of like a sociopath for most of the film.
Well, one of the things I kind of felt like is that you could see where he was trying to take things seriously in filming this movie, and that he just, I don't know. To me, he came across as he had to overact for this part because he just doesn't fit that role, or maybe it's just the soldier badass role. It just seemed like was too much of a stretch for him. But yeah, it just seemed like he was working too hard to make it a real performance.
Yeah, we also don't really have any reason to like him that much, other than he's not the warden.
Didn't he end up in prison because of the murder he committed while on parade?
Yeah, that was actually a dope beginning where it's like a military parade, and there's a few military officers standing on a podium, and one of the guys slips out of the parade and just murks one of the officers, and that was an interesting way to start.
Yeah.
There's also an interesting type of humor that you don't see as much anymore. Like when when our guy Robbins gets dropped into this prison colony, Absalom, middle of nowhere, it's prison island. They're surrounded by like warships. He comes across these outsiders that Britt mentioned, and the outsiders are run by this guy Malik he's got crazy dreads, and Malik's like, I'm the manager of this colony, and he makes a joke about it being a resort, and our guy Robbins goes, I hope you take plastic. Like it's just like very like outdated feeling in terms of even the jokes.
Yeah, and you never knew when he was going to throw in one of those really bad dad jokes that, I don't know, what do you call it in this situation? Vicious, proud fighting machine dad joke. I don't know, because there was a lot of that in there. You're like, oh, is this why we're supposed to like him, because he can throw out one of these jokes every so often?
One thing I'll say, I did kind of like the acting in the movie. It was always overstated. It's a movie like Waterworld or Mad Max in its content, where it feels post-apocalyptic and people are being over the top, but it was never as fun as either of those options.
Yeah. I mean, the world building isn't bad. It's just not up to the level of those other films you mentioned. They build kind of a believable world because, I mean, in 1994 they basically set up what is happening now. It was happening at that time too, but it's worse now.
Agreed. One thing I would also compare it to Escape from New York with is with the main character, he didn't have any notoriety. Like nobody knew who he was. Nobody knew anything about him. Where Snake meets, I think, 3 or 4 people in Escape from New York who go, "Oh, I heard you were dead. I thought you were dead." Everybody knows who he is. He's like a known quantity in this world. Whereas Robbins is just kind of a nobody who they think is a good leader because he's more of an action hero than anyone else there.
That's fine. Like he gets immediately known for reputation by the insiders when he escapes the outsiders, because he's like the first person to ever survive the outsiders, basically. So,
true. Oh. That's true. It doesn't mean he's good. It just means he's
better than the outsiders.
Better than the outsiders, yeah. And another thing, this movie had a lot of traps. And you guys, I love traps.
I'm a big trap fan too.
What's your favorite movie trap?
That's a great question.
I'll go first while you're thinking. Yeah. I love a trap.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Give me a trap door any day. Somebody falling through a door that they didn't know was there in the floor. Yes, 100 times out of 100, I love it. And I'm also a sucker for any kind of trap involving a net.
Well, the thing that it was a great use of a trap door there, right? But then he stood there and did nothing in that scene.
And the scene Eric's talking about is the 2 guys are arguing upstairs, and our guy Robbins is downstairs. He sets off a trap door, and it drops Malik, the bad guy, down to him so they can fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I was so disappointed. I thought there was going to be,
Oh, I have an answer. My favorite trap in a movie is from like a 1984, I want to say, film called Ninja's Extreme Weapons. And it's only because it's like the ending of the film, and like, so there's like this red ninja, and he's fighting like a black and a white ninja. And the black and the white ninja are fighting, and he suddenly just like detonates a bomb. It's very Deus Ex Machina, and just like kills the guys. And then it zooms in on the red ninja, and he says, "In the name of God, amen." And then the film ends. It's incredible.
I remember that, and I had not thought about that movie in like 10 years. That's so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. So exploding trap. That's a good one.
Really
Eric?
more, it's just for in the name of God, amen. Like a ninja saying that, I'm like, what?
Yeah, traps are better when ninjas use them. I think that's definitely a huge feather in its cap too.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Are they better when Ewoks use them?
Ooh.
Yo, I love Ewok traps.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I love the two trees. The
Yes,
smash
exactly. That's why
ATST.
smashing the walker. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
That's a great trap when when a little, a little Ewok can smash, some part of the empire there. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say like the trap in this one, the spiked log on the swing, also a cool trap.
No.
Punji pit also got used effectively. Another trap. I think of traps in movies all the time. I love like anything where somebody sets up traps like in Home Alone, something like that. Give me more Home Alone type movies.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Ooh, how about like a Home Alone ninja movie?
Yes. Why don't we have that? It writes itself.
Right.
Where the ninjas
It writes itself. I need to know more about this movie here.
Just type it into ChatGPT. It will write itself. It's not going to be good, but it will write itself.
Yeah. Home Alone ninja.
Let me ask you too. How did you feel about the character of Tom King? He was this like weird stereotype they might have had in the 90s of like this male bed and breakfast owner.
Mm-hmm.
He wears a cross and he's like this queer coded Christian dandy type.
Yeah.
What did you make of him?
Played by English actor
Ian McNice.
Yeah. Who was on like Doctor Who, and he was also in Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Yep.
What did you guys think of him? As it turns out, he's a foil.
He's a bit of a rat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't see him being the one doing that, so I think they did a good job of picking him because he's just this kind of sorry type of individual who you kind of pity because he's there and he's taking care of others, and so he really seems empathetic, and then you find out he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's in the movie just long enough for you to forget about him.
Yeah.
Which is what you want with ineffective. Oh, this guy's going to be the mole because he's not relevant enough. He's not on like the tactical team that's trying to get off the island. He's not shown enough that you would remember that he's like a big character.
Mm-hmm. We should also talk about the character of the father, played by Lance Hendrickson, because big fan of Lance Hendrickson, and it was pretty good in this film. He put in a solid performance.
I like him. He was playing I believe he was a former doctor or current doctor or surgeon, and the other characters said something to the effect of, he's the only innocent man here. And he admits at one point that he's not innocent and he did kill his wife. And I don't know, it didn't really make me feel any different about him because he's already like the leader of this camp, and it's the bad guys versus like the even worse guys is kind of how it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And you want the bad guys to win.
Yeah. Kind of.
And they're against the even worse guys, and then the people who run the prison, who are the even worse guys.
Right, the worst one of them all, the private prison corporation.
Right. So we want these guys to get off the island. That's the whole goal of Robbins the whole time. I like there's a guy who like runs a store. I thought that was fun. They got Johnny Drama from Entourage is there.
Mm-hmm.
The pitch seems to be kind of like it's like Gilligan's Island, but it's impossible to leave, and there's a prison. One thing that drove me crazy about this movie was it's referenced on on the description for the movie, and in the movie they even allude to it that the outsiders are cannibals. But if there's cannibals in the movie, show them eating somebody. Like
Right.
make them actual
Right.
cannibals. There was no cannibalism in this film.
Well, there was plenty of bodies dropping dead in front of them, and at no point did they pick them up and, hey, we got thigh and ribs for dinner. Come on, let's go, boys. Chop them up. Let's cook them up.
Yes, make them extra gross. And instead, we see them having there's rats on a rotisserie at one point.
Right.
They're eating rats.
Right.
But if they're alluded to as cannibals, they said something like, if you can catch them and kill them, you could eat them. Something to that degree. And I would have appreciated that.
It's a missed opportunity to make the film a lot better.
Yes, I completely agree. And there's some fun skirmishes in the film. There's I like all the armor is made out of seashells and wood. I think that's great. Also, it's like the ugly guys versus the less ugly guys. Like the cannibal team is those guys are so ugly.
Right.
That's their whole thing. They're ugly and they're
Right.
dirty, and the
Right.
outsiders are these put together
Bathed.
debonair sorts.
Yeah. No, they've got dial soap somewhere over there in that camp.
Yeah, right. And they have item drops across the island from helicopters a couple times a week, and they say, oh, nobody knows where it's going to be, and I have no idea what they're dropping and what's washing ashore, because there's stuff like baseball mitts and size 44 underwear that the store guy is selling.
Yeah, didn't we have 5 size 42 or 44
Yeah.
underwear? I got 5 of them.
Yeah. Where are you getting this stuff, man?
Yeah.
There's an inventor guy. That's pretty fun. I love an inventor.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And I like that Merrick's thing as a villain. His thing is singing or whistling Christmas carols, because the movie takes place around Christmas, apparently.
Yeah. Well.
So that, I think, that's the big question for this. I think this is the number one question about this film. Is this a Christmas movie?
Ooh, that's
Eric,
a great
yes.
question. Yeah. All right, let's debate the merits. Is anyone on the side that it is a Christmas film? Because I say it is not.
I think this falls under the exact same category as Die Hard. So for those people who buy into Die Hard as a Christmas movie, this is a Christmas movie as well. And if you're not one of those who buys into Die Hard being a Christmas movie, then it's not. I mean, I know Bruce Willis came out a few years ago and said Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
No, I don't think Die Hard is. I think Die Hard 2 is.
Die Harder. Yes, I am inclined to agree. I think that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. I'm tired of that being a talking point. Why aren't we talking about No Escape? Is that a Christmas movie?
Yeah, exactly.
New conversation.
We need to move that, move that needle a little bit on this and have a far more difficult discussion on whether or not No Escape is actually a Christmas movie.
And I think that we can all agree that No Escape, not a Christmas movie.
Not a Christmas movie.
One thing that I loved in the movie was the occasional flashback that Robbins would have anytime he sees fire. It's like explosions, and then the silhouettes of women and babies in the background, and he we flash back to him, and he's sweaty, and his eyes are bloodshot, and he's shaking, and it happened multiple times when he sees fire from an engine, but then when he causes an explosion, there's no flashback.
Yeah, instead he's yeah fire.
That was insanity. He blew up his settlement with a rocket launcher at some point, but
that was so cool.
But there was no flashback associated.
No flashback. Yeah, that's what I think the biggest thing was, is the inconsistency with the flashbacks when there was fire.
He only has PTSD when it's unethical explosions. When he's doing it for the right reasons, no PTSD.
I see. That's a good point.
No.
Yeah. Now, the film ends in a fun way where they get the warden to come out there. They jack the warden's helicopter. Him and King are left on the island. The other protagonists leave, except for Ernie Hudson, who's left to run the camp. The movie really underused Ernie Hudson and his character Hawkins.
No, he was great.
Yep.
I thought he was great for
Very
the
good.
little he was in the film.
Yeah, I always like Ernie Hudson and stuff. And
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a very good actor.
He got Ghostbustered out of this film.
Thank you. Yes.
What was the name of that movie with Rebecca? Oh, I can't remember. I think it was Rebecca De Mornay or something, where Ernie Hudson was kind of like the landscape help or something, and he could kind of sense that she was up to like hurting the kids or something along those lines. I can't remember what the hell it was.
I think that you're talking about The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, but I'm not positive.
Yes, there you go. That's it. He was so good in that movie. Ernie was. But she was terrible to him. She was just awful.
I remember my parents rented me that movie when I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16 on Halloween, and I watched half of it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And I never watched the other half.
Never went and finished it, huh?
Yeah, I had to go do something, and then in all these years since, I have never finished watching The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I will assume he was good in it.
You know what he was great in was 1994's The Crow. I'm not even kidding. He was great in that movie. I loved it.
Are you a fan of The Crow?
Yeah, that was yes.
I love The Crow. The Crow is an awesome movie.
A very good movie.
Straight up. It's good as hell. It's one of the best goth movies out there.
Great movie. Yeah, very good movie.
Crow remake.
That is one of the worst goth movies out there.
Yeah, that they really missed the target. They should have left that alone.
Yeah.
Where do you put Practical Magic in the canon of like goth films? Or The Craft?
Pretty good. I love The Craft. The Craft is definitely up there.
Yeah. They seem like gothic movies to me. Also, did either of you watch this movie on Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you get the ads constantly like I did when you pause it and it like pet food or sunglasses or like with the QR code? Like those are annoying.
No,
yes.
I didn't get that.
Oh, I
yes.
Anytime I paused it, and then I got anytime I watch Prime, I seem to get the Jesus Show preview for The Chosen. And, that doesn't look right either.
It's trying to convert you.
You think anyone's been converted by commercials? People are so much dumber than I give them credit for.
Absolutely. Like watch one of those 700 Clubs commercials, start to feel the Holy Spirit, give away your social security check.
Honestly, crazier things have happened. Yes.
Yes, we're going to rebuild Alcatraz.
Now, any final thoughts on the film that we would like to bring up?
No, but I do think that did inspire your idea about sending inmates to isolated Alaska.
Honestly, probably. Like in terms of like for what they're trying to do, I don't want a prison in Alaska by any stretch, but it seems like it would have the same aesthetic effect.
I mean, if you're gonna, obviously, whenever there's a movie about someone being stranded on an island, it's always someplace gorgeous, right? Perfect weather. They got beaches or rocky cliffs and ocean. I think if you're really sick and sadistic, drop them on a cold island somewhere off the coast of Alaska. I mean, that's real torture right there, isn't it? I mean, if you have to deal with those winters, that warden would have people dying every year.
Yeah, what is it called? The Aleutian Chain? That would be...
Yeah. The warden did kind of drop him onto like a tropical paradise, like a place that used to actually be a vacation resort, which is where the outsiders were living. Like,
that sounds pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And bananas and stuff. I mean, and probably some Ewoks in there somewhere who help make, traps.
Oh.
Like, but besides the war between the insiders and outsiders, like if the two could actually find peace, that would be like an ideal way to do your time. If you are forced to do time, like you at least get a semblance of freedom and independence. You have autonomy. That it's not just based on a system.
And if you want, you can go for swims every day.
Yeah. Right.
Get some laps in.
Well, I don't know if y'all noticed something about this film. No female representation whatsoever.
There wasn't a woman in the entire movie,
No.
which is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
No. Nope.
It's rare that this happens. The Bechdel test fails on this one.
100%.
I mean, it is a kind of a futuristic movie then, right? Just the way MAGA wants it. No female input whatsoever.
Yeah. Mostly white males, a diminished role for the black guy in the film. You know,
Absolutely.
And did you two notice that this was directed by Martin Campbell, who directed two of our finest Bond films, Casino Royale and GoldenEye?
Really?
Did not.
Did not notice that.
Did not notice that. Good catch there.
Yeah, I saw that name at the beginning, and I was like, no way. Like, this is going to be a good movie. Like, the beginning, I can't stress that enough. The beginning 2 minutes of the film leads you to think this is going to be cool. And it gets out of control, not in the best way.
Yeah, but it's not bad. So how many soups would y'all give it?
I give it a solid 3 soups.
Yeah, I'd say 2.5.
Okay. I'm going 2 soups.
Okay.
I was struggling. My ADHD was screaming to pull me away from the screen. I was just I was dying to look away for something shiny in the area. It just wasn't keeping my attention.
Yeah, it was much longer than it should have been. They could have easily cut 20 minutes out of this film, left the explosions, and it would have been pretty cool.
It would have been better as a 71-minute film, wouldn't it?
Honestly, I think a lot of films would be better as 71-minute films.
Foreshadowing.
Dinosaur Prison would be better as a 20-minute film, though, which is the next film we will be talking about.
I think Dinosaur Prison would have been better as just a thought in the writer's head.
yeah, like a commercial at most.
Stayed there.
Or maybe just a TikTok video, 8 second.
No.
So Dinosaur Prison is like, all right, we're closing the door on No Escape.
Mm-hmm.
No Escape 1994. We thought you were fine. Kind of boring. You could have been so much more. You had potential. More cannibals, less runtime. Now, Dinosaur Prison from 2023 was directed by Tyler James, who directs bullshit like this: Dinosaur Hotel 3, Mega Twister, Tsunami Sharks, Crocodile Swarm, Monster NATO, and Sky Monster.
So what you're saying is this might be his best flick?
I won't watch any of the slop that he puts out after this. It's too much. Producer Britt, would you like to break it down?
Yeah, I think is this an asylum film? Did you catch that at all?
I did not.
I think it is. I mean, it feels like an asylum film, like Sharknado and Drek like that. But gosh, so the premise for the film, we got 3 women who are like politically activated, who have gone in and broken monkeys out of test labs and stuff before, decide to go into an abandoned like asylum where they think like animals are being held, and they soon come to find out animals certainly are being held there. Dinosaurs.
Soars.
Oh, it's so bad.
Wait a second. Here we go. Dinosaurs. Where
is our velociraptor, screech or scream? That's what we need right there. Our T-Rex just going bonkers.
Oh, the movie has no shortage of that. When we actually do see dinosaurs in this movie, they look like shit. Like when they're totally still, they don't look as bad, and then they move, and they're way too shiny, way too pixelated. Nothing looks good. Good.
It's like especially when they wanted to show us the scary teeth. Like the CGI on the teeth, just for whatever reason, that one they just look like paper cutouts.
No, the CGI in this movie all looks like it was made on the demo version of the rendering software.
Yeah. You cut it out of like a PS3 game cutscene and paste. There's a few things in here. So the 3 break into this facility and they're like, the leader, Beth, she gets told that she has no idea what she's gotten the others into. And she's like, well, I had good intelligence on this, but like I wouldn't be breaking into a prison no matter what's in the prison by taking somebody's word for it.
Right. Right. Well, they're there for like 20 minutes and then I seem to remember, do you know what this is? It could be just like they're in there and all of a sudden they have the realization, wow, this used to be a prison. I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It's just I'm so stupefied by what I watched.
Hey, we have been all made dumber by this. Before we really dig into it, you guys give me your top 3 dinosaurs.
Well, obviously we gotta pick Velociraptor.
Do we?
I do. I mean, they're phenomenal, right?
I don't know. I feel like they're oversold. Like they were like the size of chickens, weren't they? Aren't they much smaller than the movies have sold them as?
Well, I don't know. I thought they were, like 6-7 feet tall. That's a damn big chicken.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I guess 4 or 5 to 6 feet tall. Yeah, okay. I guess they were pretty big. Maybe I'm just thinking of the regular raptor.
Well, they have that, and then T-Rex.
Okay.
And then the one that is no longer on the list, but hits home for me because it was one of my nicknames growing up was Brontosaurus.
Brontosaurus?
Brontosaurus. Brontosaurus.
I like that a lot.
How did you get that nickname?
Oh, just because I was so damn big. Bronson being a giant and Brontosaurus.
They could have worked it like Brontosaurus or something. Like your name is part of it. Work that into the nickname.
Well, it's in there with the Bron, B-R-O-N.
That's true.
Yeah.
You should have had some kind of like I don't know. You should have opened a gym with like all brains, all Bronson or something like that.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah, but then when I don't know, probably when you guys were kids, that's not a real name of a real dinosaur, and I was just devastated. It was even worse than finding out that Pluto is no longer a planet.
Hate that.
Yeah, hate it. Mm-hmm. Britt, hit me with those dinos.
Oh gosh, gonna go start with a Stegosaurus. Big fan of a Spinosaurus. Big fan of any non-carnivorous dinosaur. They get big.
Yes.
They're real cool. Next, gonna go for the Ankylosaurus. Big fan of that one. That's the one with like the hammer tail and the spiny back.
He looks like armored armadillo.
Yeah. Big fan of that one. And then I don't know what's a good third one. Like the Brontosaurus is great, even though it's not a thing. What did they rename that as? The
Brachiosaurus is the other one.
There's also the Dreadnoughtus, which is kind of Brontosaurus like. Yeah, we'll go with maybe the Dreadnoughtus. Oh no, I know this one. The Diplodocus, baby. Diplodocus.
I'm gonna go with Triceratops.
Triceratops is a good one.
Pterodactyl, baby.
Ooh, didn't think of the pterodactyl. Pterodactyls are pretty cool.
I'm a dactyl man.
Mm-hmm. So, Dinosaur Prison.
Dinosaur Prison. I love the opening credits. There's a lot of like graphs flying at the screen with a green tint and like occasionally like a dinosaur face. I thought that was like, oh, this is real like low budget like slop. This is nothing. It doesn't feel shot entirely incompetently. Kind of looks like a TV movie. The lighting's bad throughout. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the whole thing is like this is like some off book Black Ops shit that the prison is being run by the military, but it doesn't, nothing about it feels legitimate. Mm-hmm. They're breeding dinosaurs and they're messing with their DNA traits, something like that. And there's like a dinosaur that can turn invisible.
Yeah. There's a raptor that can go invisible. And there's like a fire breathing dinosaur. pretty cool.
Yeah, that. Well, I won't get into that. That scene at the end with the fight with that dinosaur and the way that dinosaur is killed.
Yeah,
with the flaming sword.
Yeah, and also, like what happens to the guy with the flaming sword right after? That was right. One of the parts where I laughed out loud, and I was like, "Okay, you got me, me."
I love the man with the flaming sword fighting the dinosaur. I thought that he does like a kata, like with a sword, like down an entire hallway, like just trying to hit this invisible dinosaur, and he lops its head off. That was awesome.
Well, we joking about the 71 minutes. How much shorter would the film have been had they just showed that in regular speed rather than showing that in slow mo?
True, but that's the best part of the movie. Like I'm happy to watch this. I promise you, at that point, I just looked at my screen and what is this vomit I am watching? Real talk. Now, I'm not like I don't know all the animals. I don't know all the dinosaurs. Has there ever been, that we know of, an animal on this planet that breathes fire?
I would think that the closest thing to that are like the reptiles that can spit venom.
Yeah.
We got frogs and snakes, and got the Komodo dragon, right, that has acid in its teeth, right, or in its lips that can. So that's one of the things. Like, it's not just that it can rip you apart and shake you around. It's just that the acid will infect whatever the hell it bites, and I think that would be the closest thing to it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the bombardier beetle, like, has a spit that comes out at like 200 degrees. That's like boiling. Yeah.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of close-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, but like straight up fire is something that
I don't think that's a thing.
We've never seen. I like that they're adapting animals to breathe fire. I mean, I hate it, and it was maybe the dumbest part of the movie, but recognize that they're losing the audience, and they haven't even hit this almost runtime of 72 minutes, and they throw in a fire-breathing dinosaur, and you go, "Oh, okay, that's all right. Yeah, that's fine."
Yeah, that's okay.
Can we talk about my favorite character in the movie?
Oh,
King Chad.
Oh, I thought you were
Johns.
Oh yeah, Dr. Johns. Yeah. When the other time I laughed out loud was when he showed up, and I'm like, "What the fuck is Willy Wonka doing in this film?"
Yeah, that's a circus. They've got a ringmaster in this. What the hell?
The man is wearing a top hat without any real irony. He's wearing a smoking jacket, a bow tie, and leather pants. He's like like a guy trying to dress like a rock star when he's just a guy who works at a dinosaur prison.
What do you mean? Wait, excuse me. What do you mean? Just a guy that works at a dinosaur prison?
You heard me. It's a normal job.
That is what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be Willy Wonka that works at a dinosaur prison.
And he's like this humanitarian doctor who's taking care of dinosaurs. He like gets along with the girls. And now let's talk about top hats. Eric, have you ever had a student who wore a top hat to class? Like known somebody who wore a top hat as an attention getting measure? Because that's all it is.
No, never. Have you?
No, I have not, but Britt has. Britt, can you tell us your best top hat wearing follow the hat type of story?
Gosh, there was this guy he went by Follow the Hat, and he started followthehat.com. That was like an internet forum in Alaska that was not very widely trafficked because, he was just a dork who was trying to like create his own brand. But he was like this dirty guy who just wore a top hat everywhere. And twice he saw me, and he asked me to do the Jane Silent Bob rap because at the time I had long hair and wore a beanie and looked somewhat like Jay from Jane Silent Bob.
Snooch to the booch.
Snoogans.
Bong.
You got to say that properly. You say it with something. Bong.
I know. I was trying to be cool and not put too much emphasis into it, but I love it when he says "bung." It makes me laugh every time. Yeah. This is a pro Kevin Smith podcast now.
Absolutely.
Is it? I produce this podcast, fellas. I can just cut that out.
I wish Kevin Smith had like a prison movie. That would have been on the list.
No.
Yeah.
Also wouldn't happen.
Wait, Jay and Silent Bob bust out.
Jay and
them
Silent
getting
Bob
out
go
of,
to that could be okay. Or like,
they get caught doing something and they.
How about Prison Rats, where everyone from Mallrats goes to prison because that's where they belong?
Oh, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, shots fired. But honestly, that would be a better follow up to Mallrats than doing it at a mall again. We don't need another Mallrats at a mall. I don't think anybody needs that.
No, we don't need it, but we would watch it.
A couple other things I want to bring up about Dinosaur Prison. I really like, there's a moment where Dr. Johns is talking about how dinosaurs used to be tied down for an examination when they first arrived at the facility. And he mentions this and gives a distant stare. And there's like 11 dinosaur sounds at once playing. Like the dinosaurs are also remembering. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I don't know that. Like they could hear him say it, or because he was expressing sorrow, they went ahead and moaned along with him. I don't know. There's so many things about this movie that were so odd, and that was definitely one of those parts.
Yeah, this movie is a movie that did make a lot of decisions, and I do appreciate that. I like when a movie just does something, it doesn't explain it, just like they're like, yep, well, there it is, audience, decide for yourself. And this movie did that quite a few times, and the decision I made was, well, that was bad every time, but
yeah, there was not a single one of those decisions that were, that made it better.
Yeah.
Let me tell you one that did make it better for me. So they meet Albert at one point. Albert is like, he's a scientist because he's dressed like a nerd. Mm-hmm. And Albert, he assures the ladies, he's like, I'm going to get you documents to prove what we're doing. But like, we like, you're like, what is he doing? Why is he on their side? He works here and we don't know anything about this guy. And Albert says, I'm going to provide like photographic evidence and medical documentation. And he gives them a few papers that have dinosaur mugshots on them. And it's like dinosaur heads standing in front of like the mugshot that shows how tall they are.
Right.
Think about like you go to the cops and you're like, look, poof. And it's like these dinosaur mugshots. And they'd be like, get out, go away. Like, get out of our station.
Stop showing us your memes. Yeah, that was pretty great. And imagine like the guy taking those mug shots. He's like, all right, turn. All right, turn.
Chin up.
Well, we do know that the dinosaurs can understand some of what we're saying. Dr. Johns tells us that at one point.
Right. Yeah, they talk to him sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And he keeps telling the dinosaurs, we are your friends. We're not here to hurt you. And Johns and Beth, spoiler alert, are the two who actually make it through alive in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was yeah.
What were some of your favorite deaths in this film?
It's that scene with the sword, with the flaming sword.
Yeah.
Just there, you can't.
And then he gets eaten through a window by a Tyrannosaurus, which is incredible. I laughed out loud at that. I was just like, wow, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, the dinosaur corrections officer troops, they constantly get devoured. Captain Hill is the guy running the place, and he's like Senator Fetterman discussing Palestine. He's like, kill them all.
Well, that's what I think. Like the first quarter of the movie, maybe third, is people peeking into cells looking at dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And then it's all, these people having really bad dialogue with one another. And then the final end of it is people running and being killed and eaten. That's kind of the movie.
Which we get a good 40 minutes of, which was definitely the better part of the movie.
Oh, but the CG, that's That's the strong part. But the CGI is so horrible that you just can't. I don't know.
I mean, everything's horrible though. So it's not like the CGI is better than the lighting or the cinematography or the script or the acting or anything like that. Everything's noticeably bad, but the CGI is just like right there in front of your face. So
Right. So here's one of the things I'm wondering about. Did either of you find anywhere the budget for this movie? Because I was looking that up just to see if we could learn how much they wasted on this thing and then how much they made on it. I would love to know. Here's what we spent on it, and we didn't make anywhere near what we spent on it.
So this movie, it actually is not an Asylum film. It was made by Jagged Edge Productions. Best known for basically just like taking properties that are now like public domain and making horror movies out of them. They made the Winnie the Pooh films that were horror movies. They made like Jack and Jill. They made a Pinocchio. They've done all types of like properties, and you know, they're all super bad. And so, you know, at least credit to them for making a original story.
The idea of Jurassic Park and inverting it to, like the only interesting idea was, we can save a lot of troops if we just put dinosaurs out in the field as our military instead. And I was thinking like, yeah, I guess, but how would you ever control the dinosaurs? And you're just setting a T-Rex loose,
right? Yeah. Well, it's with that whole belief that you're going to be able to control them, right? Because you talk to them.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that worked. It's never worked in a dinosaur movie. Like they should have seen Jurassic Park and like okay, case closed. Like we can't do this.
But it does work when the dinosaur is purple and he loves you and you love me.
No. You had me for a second. I was trying to recall like the purple dinosaur in Dinosaur Prison. And, it's not there. Another note is that Captain Hill at one point mentions like the Raptors exercise yard, and if the Raptors have an exercise yard, like why? And then also like why don't the other dinosaurs have an exercise yard?
Well, you know they're in their cells doing burpees and push-ups and squat thrusts, all those fun things.
Right. They got to get jacked.
That's why the Raptors because they need to coordinate, right? So don't they talk to one another?
If this is just like a regular prison, do they also have like a commissary for the Raptors?
Oh, that's a good question.
Can they get soups? Can they
what
trade
the hell
soups?
is a dining hall like?
It seems like everyone's in seg here. If we're going to bring some prison mechanics into it, everyone is. It's like solitary confinement for everyone.
True.
Well, are they segregated into cell blocks by the prison gang?
Is the Aryan Nation in the prison, in the dinosaur prison?
I don't know. Maybe the whole thing is just Bloods.
Yeah. This is a good question, and you know, but they to the dinosaurs' credit, like, is there an Aryan Nation? They only kill white people because I think there's only white people in this movie.
That's
true.
Yeah, well, no, there's one like brown guy, Dr. Johns.
Oh yes, Dr. Johns. That's true,
and he survives. He survives.
Dude.
So yeah, maybe it's like the Nation of Islam or something, but dinosaurs.
Did you two catch like when Dr. Johns and Beth are running away? He takes out that other woman's knee with his like cobra cane. He's got this cane with a cobra on top, and he takes out her knee, and it's like never mentioned. And the last line of the movie, he's like, Beth, come on, there's still so many caged dinosaurs in prison. We have to help. Come on. And then it moves away from the parking lot. And you two missed the like mid credits scene, but it's the T-Rex. The movie ends with the fire breathing raptor riding on the back of the T-Rex, which I was like, ugh, I hate this. And the mid credits scene is the T-Rex and fire raptor had made it to the skyline of a city in the background, so we can see that they're going to take over this. It sucks. There's nothing good about it.
Yeah, this was painful. The whole thing was painful.
All right. Question based on that. You've heard of the 100 men versus a gorilla, right? That whole argument going on online. Well, a bunch of people online are arguing about if 100 men could fight and kill one gorilla.
Yeah, this is total nonsense.
Interesting discussion. Not really interesting. But how about 100 cops versus a fire-breathing velociraptor and a tyrannosaurus?
Do the cops have guns?
Excuse me?
No.
This is America.
No
The
chance.
cops always have guns. The cops have military-grade weaponry.
You said fire breathing, right?
Yeah. Fire-breathing
No.
velociraptor. No? You don't think they could take him?
No, it's definitely. I gotta go with the dinosaurs.
Maybe I should bring a dinosaur to the next protest I go to.
I don't know, guys. I gotta back the blue here. I think military grade weaponry. We could take down a T-Rex. I'm backing the blue. I'm gonna be the guy who like has nothing to do with police, but puts a Blue Lives Matter flag on the back of my truck,
just so you don't get pulled over.
help get you out of the tickets, right?
Yeah, the most bootlicker of all. That like we all think that guy's funny.
Right. Oh.
Yep.
Well, are you ready to tell us about the soups here for this?
Yeah.
How many film that you found for us?
I'm gonna give this one a soup and a half. I was entertained enough for the 71 minutes, but it was a bad film.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's what my question here is. Can we throw the soup back at the kitchen? They had nothing to do with it. One soup, right? That's as low as we can go, right? Yeah. One soup.
Sorry, there's a fly in this soup, or there's a fire-breathing velociraptor in this soup. Please ask
the pteranodon in their soup.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it one soup. This is better than the one half of a soup. I'm giving it a full soup because I was entertained at times. It's slow moving, not a lot happens. You know what? 1.5 soups just for Dr. Johns as a character. I really like him. He was interesting. He didn't make any sense why he's in a movie, and I want more movies with him. I would follow the Dr. Johns cinematic universe.
So what you're saying here is it was so bad it ventured on becoming good?
No, just Dr. Johns. That's
okay.
like,
just that character.
Yeah, I just stand him. How about yourself? Wait, what do you rate?
I gave it one soup. Those are bowls of soup. Can we give it a cup of soup?
I mean, they're not bowls. They're dry soups. You know.
Like, yeah. These are ramens, my friend.
Yeah, you can
ramens.
trade.
Okay. Yeah. I just that was one that was bad, really bad.
Like a dry ramen, no broth.
Right. Although that has value inside a prison.
It does.
You can do a lot with that.
I remember being at a party once, and a friend asked me to. He was raiding the cabinets, and he's like, "Hey, let's eat this top ramen and just put the seasoning on top. You eat it dry; it's really good." And guess what? It's not good. I don't understand why people want this.
It can't be good.
No, it's so dry; it is unbearable.
That's awful.
Well, I think we're about ready to put a bow on this movie Maynute. Any final thoughts on No Escape or Dinosaur Prison?
No. That took out the movie Maynute from me.
Well, my friends, it's been another glorious month here on the pod, and I'm glad that we were able to share this tragedy together.
That's right. We were all suffering together.
Now, would anyone like to say a last thank you to Roger Williams University
School of Justice Studies?
Yes.
Definitely. Thank you, Roger Williams School of Justice Studies, for your continued support of this wonderful podcast.
Yes, and indeed. Bring back your leadership program so that Britt can do his thing again.
Please. It's the only reason I come to this podcast.
Yes.
And if you enjoyed Movie Maynute, please tune in for our other episodes. For Movie Minute, Brit segment, where he breaks down the films of our day and in past films too, I guess. Thanks for listening. Please please subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, I guess, is our new iTunes. Do that one. And until next time, Eric. No, you know what? Britt, you get to say it this time.
Britt gets to say it.
All right. Until next time, everybody, it's lights out.